Greetings and welcome back to another Fake Grand Order video. It is time that we start our preparations for the second Halloween event featuring Elizabeth, only this time she comes in as a saber and names herself Brave, though I'm not sure what the story is going to be with that, but that's going to be the event. Now, as with pretty much a lot of the events this time around, there's going to be a combination of several things. There's going to be some story missions where we're going to get her as a temporary servant, and as you fight along and do optional missions, you get her permanently. There's going to be event craft instances, there's going to be summoning craft instances, 2 new servants, not including Elizabeth. So without further ado, let's go in and see what this is about, shall we? Now, to start things off, the first thing we gotta look at is Elizabeth, the event servant we're gonna be able to get to MP level 5, and we will get essentially for free, unless you count the time as something, which many people do. But anyway, let's take a look at her stats, shall we? 9,899 attack standard for her 4-star, not too bad. HP is around 11,000, it actually is 11,000, that's not too bad either. And quick double arts double buster, that's definitely good. Quick is not useful on anyone other than high star generating servants like assassins, so having 2 arts and 2 busters is definitely the best. This gives her definitely good damage and definitely good MP generation, as we'll see more below. And her art, by the way, if any of you feel it's odd or it doesn't make sense as to why, it's because it is a reference to the Dragon Quest III female warrior artwork. That's what it is. I'm putting it up right now. I couldn't find a particularly large picture, but that's what it's a reference to. At least I believe it is. That's what the internet tells me anyway. So anyway, let's take a look at her skills. Skill 1. Heroine's Great Principle EX grants of invincibility for 1 turn and increases own MP generation rate for 1 turn. An excellent survival skill, especially since in the last event, in the high difficulty quest, we had people that had ignore evasion with sure hit, and the Knights in Camelot also got sure hit, so getting invincibility is definitely good. And getting MP generation on top of that is even better. What a lot of people don't know is that taking damage also charges your Noble Phantasm, so having an MP generation rate extra of 30% while you're taking damage, and if you're using this skill, you're probably taking a Noble Phantasm in terms of damage, that's definitely not a bad skill to have there. Unfortunately, 8, 7, and 6 turns cooldown, but definitely a good survival skill. Now, second skill, Mana Burst Courage D. Increases own buster performance for 1 turn, so that's good, and increases own defense by 20% for 1 turn. So this skill can be used either way. 20% extra buster damage is definitely not bad, considering her Noble Phantasm is a buster type, and she has a double buster deck, so if you get a buster heroic chain with her, using this is definitely not a bad idea. And the fact that it goes from 20 to 40% at max level is definitely a very nice bonus. 5 turns is definitely the nice result because you can use it at the beginning of the fight, and you are guaranteed to have it back up by the time you get to the boss. And lastly, her third skill, which is extremely weird. So as you can see, this skill is very, very weird. We're not sure why it's in the game, but it reduces your MP bar by 100%, so if you are over 100%, that extra percent you have, it will be still there, but you need at least 100 to activate it. And grants 1 of these random 5 buffs. I mean, the buffs in themselves are good, but costing 100% of your MP bar is a little too expensive. But let's see what they are. Buster performance, heal, grants invincibility, increased party attack, and gain critical stars. So let's take a look at the level 1 stat to see if it's ever worth it. So 30% buster performance is definitely not bad. So maybe you need to finish something off, and she has her MP sealed because of her opponent's skill. You might consider doing this. 2,000 heal to everybody is definitely not bad either. 30% extra attack, definitely good. This is at least 3 times better than Emiya's at level 1, so that's good. And 30 critical stars all the way up to 50. So yeah, the skills themselves are not bad. The problem is you get 1 randomly. And that's the bad part. Or you can also be invincible for 1 turn, which can save your life. Somewhere down in the comments, people have said that this has saved them from a wipe, but it's random, so you can never rely on it. So now, let's take a look and see. Magic resistance, say, own debuff resistance 20%, that is definitely nice. Territory creation, which is very odd to see it outside of casters. Arts performance by 6%. And this double class thing, I have no idea what it is. It doesn't do anything. I think she is the only one with it. Maybe we're gonna get a second one, but so far it does nothing. It's essentially like, I think it's a Mammo's summer characteristic that might do something in the future. I don't know. But anyway, on to the good part, the Noble Phantasm. So it is a buster type, so yes, very nice damage. Deals damage that ignores defense buff to one enemy. This is very nice because if you have been struggling with the ultra high difficulty quests from the past event, you'll realize that a lot of them required you to have servants whose noble phantasm ignored defense. So Elizabeth gets to be on that list, which is nice. Damage is going to be around 1000% of her attack power after reduction in defense and everything, because you're going to have her MP level 5, obviously, and then it inflicts burn, which is just a little extra, but So as a buster type, plus 1000, and then an extra 20% from her first skill, 30%, that is a lot of power that you have on her as a saber. She may not be top tier or do the most damage, but she's definitely a solid saber to go for, or to have. I know that my friend doesn't have a single 4 or 5-star saber, so he is looking forward to this event to finally get himself a saber that he can actually use. So now onto that, let's go onto the limited servant that is coming with this event, shall we? And here she is, Cleopatra. Now, once again, we are delighted by the artwork of Mr. Komatsuzaki Rui. He is the artist that also did Enamandantes, and he is the artist that did the art for the entire Danganronpa Despair series. So yeah, for some reason she's an assassin, I'm not sure why, but whatever. So let's see, 13,000 HP, not bad, 11,000 attack. For an assassin, I think that's pretty good. The fact that she's got 13,000 HP, it's definitely nice. So obviously, oddly enough, a double quick arts double buster deck, which is very interesting for an assassin when you think about it. However, when we go down to her noble phantasm, you'll see why. But first, let's take a look at her skills. First, Imperial Privilege 8 recovers 1 HP and 70% chance to increase attack and defense separately for a decent amount, so 1000 heal, and 20% buffs all the way up to 40. Not a bad skill, definitely, but I'm not sure I want to max it right off the bat. Now, second skill, Golden Rule Wealth Embodied B increases on MP generation rate for 3 turns, that is definitely nice. Charges on MP goes by 10% every turn for 3 turns, so that's 30% in 3 turns, definitely nice. And recovers own HP every turn for 3 turns, so 1500 during 3 turns. Not a bad skill, considering the MP generation rate extra can go from 20 to 40%, that is definitely nice. Unfortunately, because she only has 1 arts card, she relies on this basically to charge her Noble Phantasm at a decent rate. At level 10 it does have a 6-turn cooldown, which should be easy enough to use at the beginning of the fight, and by the time you get to the boss fight it should be ready to go up again, so it's not a bad skill, definitely solid. And lastly, Divine Protection of the God Sea grants self invincibility for 1 turn, removes own debuffs, and grants critical stars. A very nice survival for a assassin class. You get critical stars, you get healed of any debuffs, and you are invincible for that 1 turn. So very nice survival for Cleopatra here. Let's see, increase own star generation by 8%, standard for assassins, and Divinity D, increase own damage by 125%. Basically, she will always deal 125 damage unless the target is invincible. So yeah, not bad. Now, Noble Phantasm. It is a buster type. Very odd for an assassin to have buster, right? Deals damage to all enemies, deals 1000 damage to herself. I think that's based on the line of Cleopatra that she was killed by a snake, I think? I cannot remember for the life of me. But the damage is 300 to 500% if you want to get all 5 copies of her. So let's go with standard level 1 300 and increase own buster performance for 1 turn by 30%. So let's combine this with her first skill with a chance of getting 20% extra attack. Not bad. And then on top of that, with nothing there, and third skill, nothing there. So 20% extra attack plus an extra 30% buster performance. And then it launches the buster, and then if you can get a buster chain thanks to her other 2 buster cards, you're in for some very decent damage. Unfortunately, you're always going to take 1000 damage, and I'm not sure if this can actually kill you. I know that abilities that reduce your HP to activate, like, like Jalter's Buster Up card, reduced her HP by 1000, but it specifically says that this cannot this can't take her out. This seems like it might be able to kill her, so you might want to be careful with that. So as an assassin, she's definitely interesting, focusing on buster rather than quick, and having some very decent skills, especially for survival, which is odd when you think about it. But yeah, not a bad servant. Unfortunately, she is limited, which kind of sucks, but that's just the way things go. Just remember that at the end of the year, we are getting every single limited servant that came out this year is getting a day that they are going to be available once again. So now onto the 4-star servant for this event. And here he is, Mr. Vlad III Extra. I'm not sure what the extra means, but this is him. He comes finally as a Lancer when you think about it. So this one is technically more sticking to the legend of Vlad the Impaler than the other Berserker one for some reason. So let's see, 8,000 attack, that is pretty low when you think about it. Elizabeth's got almost over 1,000 extra on him. HP 13,000 now, here we go. So he's a very tanky Lancer, not bad. 2 quick arts and double buster. I'm not too fond of quick on people that aren't assassins, honestly. They only hit 3 times, so I guess it's okay. But let's take a look at his skills. First skill, Protection of Faith. Increase on debuff resistance 3% by 50%, that is not bad. 1000 HP heal, and increases defense by 20% and attack by 10%. So very interesting, so you activate it when you're going to take damage and get an extra little attack boost by them. If you level it up to maximum heal, it's 2500 heal, 40% extra defense, which is not bad, and 20% extra attack. And 100% debuff resist, not bad for a skill, but I'm not crazy about it. Second skill, Military Tactics B. Increases party's NP damage 1 turn. I don't really like this one, honestly. This is pretty much identical to Altera's, this 5-star saber. She has the exact same thing, but that's all it does. And it's 1 turn. So yeah, unless you are able to, what's it called, fully charge everybody's MP and launch them all on the same turn, this is really not a skill I am crazy for. And now, final, Innocent Monster A gains critical stars every turn for 3 turns, okay, and draws the attention of all enemies to self for 1 turn, so there we go, there's the synergy. Use first skill, which increases own defense and attack, and then you draw attention to get a little bit more extra stars, and they're attacking you. So obviously you only want to use this against archers because he is a Lancer, so that's what he's strong against. But the most interesting part of him is his Noble Phantasm. And debuff resistance 50%, nothing too much to talk about there. However, look at this. First, Kazikli Blade, the Fortress of Impalement, a Buster type on the card here, ignores invincibility for 1 turn, so that is very nice. I believe he is the second servant we have access to that ignores invincibility. The first being Altria Lancer. Deals damage to enemy of 600 all the way to 1000, not bad. And it deals extra damage to enemy with evil alignments. Now this is the first time I believe that we have any servant that deals extra damage to some type of alignment. I believe Ryogi Shiki, during her event, she had missions that required to kill certain servants with certain alignments, and that was very annoying to figure out. But let's take a look at who exactly he did this extra damage to. Now, because he is a Lancer, we're going to focus on evil archers and berserkers, because those are the people that he's going to be deal full damage to. So let's go take a look at the alignments, shall we? So let's see, evil servants, lawful evil. Oh, we have her, who Asagami Fujino, I have no idea who that is, but I'm not sure we are even close to having her. Let's see, any berserkers here? Oh yes, him, Hijikata Toshizo. I believe we're not going to get him until after we beat Babylon and Solomon. So yeah, so that's 2 servants he can truly exploit his damage towards. But that is lawful evil. Let's take a look at neutral evil. Oh, Atlanta, okay, very decent. And her Mysterious Heroine X Alter. We're getting her next year, probably. So that's a total of 4 servants he can deal full damage to. And Chaotic Evil, let's take a look. Whoa, that's a lot of people. So we've got Moriarty, we've got Emiya Alter. Let's see, Berserkers, none there. We've got Lubu, against himself, oddly enough. Against Asterios, Caligula, Kiyohime. Oh, Kuchulain Alter. Huh. Ibaraki is there as well. Atlanta Alter. Obviously, these 2 guys, obviously. Now, here we have Gorgon, Fenrir, interesting, even if he doesn't do full damage to them. Now, I want you to look at these 3 guys right here. We've got Tiamat, we've got Goedia, and we've got Beast 3-R. Now, these 3 are story bosses, and they are very difficult. Goetia, we're going to be facing off at the end of the year because she is the final boss of Babylon, I believe. And yeah, she is going to start the fight in a way you do not expect. So having Vlad against her is definitely a very good thing. And Tiamat is another story one and another story one. So having somebody that deals massive damage to these 3 guys is definitely not a bad thing. So Vlad III, well, a little bit niche, not a bad servant to have. And he is pretty tanky, so yeah. Now let's go take a look at the second best part of any event, the craft essence, shall we? Okay, so these are the 3 event craft ends, the ones we're going to be able to get from drops and from the store and from completing certain missions. So let's take a look. Obviously, the main one, the 5-star heroine, Eli-Chan's adventure. Buster card performance 10% and MP performance 20%, not bad. Now down here, this is very similar to the one we have for Ryogi Shiki's event, where certain enemies have higher chance of popping up. And that, no, I think that was more for the Oni Mountain, I believe that's what it was. Anyway, and now Wizard and Priest, so MP performance plus 15%, HP recovery 10%. This is a very nice one for Iris Vel and the Dress of Heaven, the main healer of the game that we used last event to survive all the assassins that were coming our way. So that is definitely the one I would like to give her, and basically only her. And lastly, Matahari's Tavern, quick arts and Buster card performance 2%, critical damage 5%, and extra spawn of these 2 enemies. So yeah, these 2 up here are definitely not bad. The only problem with Buster up performance and MP performance cards is that most servants that focus on Buster cards cannot charge their Noble Phantasm consistently. So you're losing a little bit of damage, well, a little bit of points that's going into this. But if you put them together with a good support like Helena, Waver, or Merlin, then yeah, that's definitely not a good one. And this one just screams being given to Irisville, or Irio, however you want to call her, because that is basically exclusively for her. Now let's take a look at the summoning craft ends. Yeah, there's summoning ones as well. And this is the first one, Dangerous Beast. Increases quick performance by 15 to 20% and gain 4 critical stars per turn. That is definitely not a bad one, considering that the level 5 quick focus card is a 25 to 30% bonus. If you can get one of these by 50%, you're exchanging 10% quick card performance for 3 stars every turn. And since most people that rely on quick cards rely on critical stars as well, this is definitely not a bad essence to go for. It's also got Mash on it with a very skimpy outfit, so yeah. Now, the second one is Witch of Moonlit Night. Increases arts performance 10% to 15% and increases MP generation rate 5 to 10%. That is definitely not bad. This is very similar to the one that we got during the Ilia event, except this one, actually I think it's almost identical to that one now that I think about it. So anyway, if you didn't get all 5 copies of that one from the Ilia event, you might consider trying to get these. Unfortunately, this is from the rare summoning pool, unfortunately, so getting them is even more difficult. But I think that's Da Vinci on the portrait with a vampire foe, so it's okay if you don't have anything for arts. This is definitely not a bad one to go for. And lastly, Count Romani Archimon's Hospitality. Increases MP generation rate 5% and increases defense 3 to 5%. This we basically get 1 free copy from one of the missions, and yeah, I'm not too crazy about it honestly. It gives no attack, it gives a minuscule amount of HP, and increases MP generation rate. I guess if you're just starting with the game, and you need something to help your casters gain more MP, this is not a bad idea. But not really crazy about it. But yeah, that seems like it's. However, we are not done yet. There is something very important we need to go take a look at, and that is the challenge quests. As you can see right here, this is going to have a very similar mechanic to the ultra hard difficulty quests. No, somebody else had them. There was an event in the past that had this type of restriction, so your team that you go for these missions can only have this types of servants. And this is pretty interesting. Females only, males only, Western servants, no kings or queens. Da Vinci's list makes no sense to me. And then we get to shorter than 165 centimeters, servants introduced in Fate Grand Order, and Heroes of Justice. Yeah, very odd section there, isn't it? Luckily, this wiki has exactly the information we need. So here we go. So first, females only. Completely obvious, isn't it? Then males only, obvious enough. Actually, let's look for someone very specific. Aha! Astolfo counts as a male this time around. Aha! Is he in the females? No, he is not. Okay, so he counts as male for this event. Then Western servants, basically anybody outside of Japan, from what I can understand, goes on the list. Yeah, that's basically it. Then no kings or queens. Yeah, so luckily Mordred's there. Obviously Elizabeth is there. So yeah, not a bad. Nobunaga's there because he wasn't a king. He was trying to unify Japan as an emperor, I think, but He never made it, so that's easy enough. Now we come to Da Vinci's list. What does this list have in common? I have no idea. They're all men from what I can see. Yes, they are. They are mostly all men. Yeah. So the only female among all of them that I can see is Tsushima Wakamaru. And yeah, they're all men. They're all handsome men, apparently. So yeah. Now, shorter than 165 centimeters. So here we go. So basically, every saber face I can think of, including Elizabeth. Tamamo is in there for some reason, even though I would think she would be particularly tall. Jalter's also pretty short, apparently, as well as Jean as well. So this is essentially another, almost female-only list, again. Yeah, very odd list there. I am very curious, how tall is Mordred? And, let's see, height. Where is interlude dialogue? Where is your height? Doesn't say, nothing there, doesn't say anything, doesn't want to say. Aw, too bad. Anyway, now we go to new participants, basically people that were introduced during Fate Grand Order. So, let's see, what do we have here? Okay, we've got most of the Knights of the Round Table, from what I can see. Yep, there's Lancelot, there's Tristan, there's Bedivere. Gawain does not appear to be there, which is very interesting. I'd like to know where he showed up first. Let's see, there's Jean Alter. Okay, Martha swimsuit version, and Martha normal probably. Yes, there she is. Let's see. Okay, so a very interesting array of servants here. So still something very functional that you can work with. And lastly, Heroes of Justice. So I'm guessing only good servants. Yeah, that's probably what this list is. Either good or neutral. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I think Shiro is chaotic neutral. Yeah, that seems to be. So anything from neutral onward. Oh, Ally of Justice, obviously. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that is what we are going to be. What's going to be required for these missions. So let's take a look at the missions themselves. First, Graveyard, maximum difficulty. Available NPCs: Cleopatra, interesting enough. Familiar boy, that's probably. Let's see, unfamiliar man and just like an uncle. I have no idea who they are, and I don't want to click because I want it to be a surprise. Interesting. Okay, now let's see, Castle Town. We have Lancelot available to us, and shoot the suspects, obliterate the perverts, restrain the infidels. What? Okay, this is probably Martha. Restrain the infidels. This is probably Jean Alter. And shoot the suspects. Who could this be? Not too sure on that one, though. Then, Forest. Tristan is available to us. There is a nuisance here. Wow, that spear is so cool. And this is such an elegant book. What? Oh, this is probably Vlad, because she is speaking about the spear here. So this is Vlad III Berserker version. That spear is so cool. And this is probably Ibaraki Doji and Shuten Doji. That's probably them. Pretty sure that's them. Let's see, Beelzebub. Maximum difficulty. Oh, here we go. Here we start getting the first copy of Elizabeth. There's a way under the armor. Only fools oppose the Pharaoh, so that's gotta be Nitocris. I heard that Arthur is here. Tristan? Maybe? Only fools oppose the Pharaoh. Oh no, this is Ozymandias, Ramses II. And there's a way under the armor. Not sure. This might be Tristan. This is definitely Ramses II. And I heard that Arthur is here. Archer. What is it? Gilgamesh. Oh. Makes sense, right. Gilgamesh is absolutely obsessed with Artoria. Right. Anyway, on to the next one. Ozymandias is going to help us here. Let's see. Autumn Viva la France. That is obviously Marie Antoinette. Genius Sommelier. And Troubled by Various Things. Right, okay. Troubled by various things. Brunhilde, okay. And Genius Sommelier is Leonardo da Vinci. Right. Yeah. Interesting. So let's see. Lava tube. Let's see. Direct current can extend a person's hate, release all species without moderation, and passing through the superior Taurus. Direct current, this is probably Edison? It is. Release all species without any moderation? Who are you? All species? Who are you? Oh, Cuchulain Alter? Okay, well then. And passing through the superior Arcturus, Asterios. Oh, right, Taurus, Asterios, makes sense. And lastly, Nidrugis helps us out, and Cuchulain Emia in Artoria, just right off the bat, right, because, right. Yeah, okay, moving on. Ally of Justice, the final one. Wow, we get a very nice ally here. Unfortunately, Lady of Fresh Blood Carmilla, obviously Carmilla, Embroidery Earl Tips, so obviously Vlad III Berserker version, and Shazan Altrin? Alter Pendragon Altar. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're up against here. So yeah, anyway, that is the upcoming Halloween 2018 event on Global Side anyway. I've been looking forward to getting my hand on that Elizabeth so I can finally have a front line of proper sabers. And yeah, hopefully this tells you what you're going to need for the event in terms of the challenge quest. So yeah. So females, males, western, no kings, and all that other good stuff. Hopefully you can decide whether you want to pull on the banner to try and get Cleopatra or not. And yeah. Good luck on getting the final copy of... which one is it? No... Oh yeah, by the way, Heroine Eli-Chan's Adventure, you get 4 from missions and the shop, and the final one you need to get lucky and get it as it drops, so good luck on that. So yeah, Halloween 2018. Hope you find this useful, and we will see you next time.